we have situations now. We have this huge young population in North America, Canada, the US, around the world. And you got so many kids in college, university, finishing college, university, going to take their degree and move on to a profession. You have many kids that finish high school, choose not to go to college, university, entrepreneurs that they've been working when they're younger and just feel, I want to be my own business owner. At the end of the day, for those quote unquote kids, young adults, if they're sitting down with you today, Zach, and saying, you know what, I kind of have an idea what I want to do, but I feel stuck. I don't know how to plan for my future. What advice would you give them as far as looking ahead for their lives?
Well, I would say I would say to not look too far ahead. It's a hard struggle because you want to look ahead, you want to plan, you want to have goals, you want to have a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10 year goal. Um, but the reality is that life is very unpredictable, and so I'm a financial planner, or at least I do financial planning, and my my clients always say to me, Zachary, you plan, God laughs. That's just how it is, right? So there's many things you can plan for. What I would tell you is try to make the next best decision. That just the next thing you do, try and make the best decision you can. And what that might be is if you want to be a business owner, you want to, assume that risk, which is unpredictable. You got to work really hard. Just go for it. Try your best. If you fail, you fail. There's nothing more you can do. There are people who have failed 150,000 times in their life. Some of the most successful people in this world have failed and failed and failed. And as long as you can manage perspective, and try your best and put your heart and your passion into something, then you can say you've done it. And in doing so, have a clear idea of what your decision provides, right? So, for instance, if you're trying to open a business, you may not make money for a couple of years. That may be the reality of it. So you need to understand that, it's like I said, for the kids trying to save for the down payment. And 5 years from now, when the down payment comes, you may not be there, right? You may have to rent. And it's a balancing act, right? There's risk and reward with everything. It was no different than me coming out of university, ready to do this job. And, I always said to myself, if I'm going to fall, because I have family members in the business, but if I'm going to fall and fail, it's going to be me. It's not going to be anybody else. So that was my perspective. And, every day's a grind. Tomorrow is not promised for anybody, but if you can work towards your goals, and, my goal is just have a nice modest sized practice, help as many people as I can, and live that quote unquote comfortable life, which is, I guess, defined by me and my partner, then that's it, right? It's all about having, and it's reading the Bible 3.0 helped me. It's all about having the right perspective, right? So if you're a young kid, you're coming out of university, you're scared because all you've ever done is learn, which is the God's honest truth. My brother's coming out of university. He's got a great job set up. He's going to be a big time accountant, God willing, knock on wood. But at the end of the day, he's scared as well, right? Because all I've ever done is learn. And now I need to put to the test everything that I've learned, all of the knowledge that I've tried to consume. It's now coming to the test. And the application section is always the hardest. And the application section, I told him, is life, just like when you did a math test. So, do what you can, interview at as many jobs as you can, talk to as many people as you can. They always say it's not what you know, it's who you know. So if you know a lot of people, or at least one really, really good person, try and leverage them as you can. Always be kind, be gracious, but do the best you can. And for those who, didn't want to go to university or didn't want to go to college, I coached a lot of kids in hockey. They decided, I'm going to become a plumber. I'm going to go do a 1 year apprenticeship, and that's what I'm going to do. And good for you. Do that as well. We're all just trying to chase this scary concept as you get older called happiness. So whatever makes you happy, do it. But just keep in mind the consequences of your decisions, the benefits of your decision as well, and maintain a perspective and read Bible 3.0 when it comes out.
It's funny, Zach. My publisher sat with me a few times and said to me, "Who's your target audience? Who do you think would want to read this? Who needs to read this?" And I said, as long as you have breath in your body and you can read or you can listen, you need this book.
Mhm.
And I meant it. I meant it. Somebody in grade school, high school, college, any level of working, retired, I think everybody can get value out of it because that's why it is the Bible. Because at the end of the day, it is creating a life system, so to speak. And from the concept you're saying, there's one chapter devoted to just embracing failure. Think
Yeah.
about that for a moment. I could tell you, Zach, in my 20s and most of my 30s, I beat myself up over every single failure. I literally just I hated myself. I rued it and I marinated in it and I thought, how did I do this? How did I screw up? And I would not let it go. Every little thing, you know. And when I learned the concept, wow, failure is good. It means I tried, I learned from it, and now I can do better. And I'm just practicing this. I felt such a weight lifted off my shoulders. And then I learned from there how to manifest, how to have a clear mind and envision the life I want and then work towards that. But if you're spending all your time beating yourself up over failures, how can you envision the life you want? Because you won't even allow yourself that happen because you see yourself as a failure. It's that
Yeah.
kind of contradiction there. And a lot of kids at a university, college, at a high school, starting the first jobs, you know, it's a hard concept when you don't have that experience and you don't have the knowledge. And life can kick you in the teeth real quick. And
Mhm.
they come from a generation that expected right now and to be on top immediately. And whoa, I got to earn this. I have to work hard for it. I don't know something. It's a mind blowing thing. And I would tell you at the end of the day, it's those hard workers and ones that are open to everything. That's the way they're going to get it. It's like the intelligent person is the one who thinks they know nothing, and the not intelligent person is the one that thinks they know everything. So at the end of the day, I always go into something with a beginner's mind, no matter what I'm doing, and saying, "Whoa, I'm going to learn something new today." Versus, "Nah, you don't have to tell me. I know this. I know this." It kind of works in line with something I wanted to bring up with you. You had raised this earlier, and Steve Carsey raised a very key expression that is now stuck with me for weeks. And I want to tell you because you're still coaching hockey. You went back to coaching hockey, right?
Yeah.
You ready for it?
Yes.
An uncoachable kid is an unemployable adult.
Yeah.
Think about that for a moment, folks. Sit on that for a second. Remember when you were playing team sports and that one kid that the coach just had a dilly of a pickle with and would just put him at the end of the bench or send them home, no playing time? If they did not evolve from that, how do you think they became in the workforce? Versus the kid that took direction, put in extra shifts, asked the right questions some more, and played with heart and worked on their little bits of the game and never thought they were ever perfect. Think about how they became in the workforce. Zach, does those thoughts go through your head as a hockey coach when you're seeing the future generation?
Absolutely. And it's the same lessons you learn in life as you do in sport. It's one of the reasons I love coaching hockey because I think that there are so many good lessons you learn in hockey. Even as a coach, I'm still learning all the time. And what you're saying is always it was always my goal as a coach, right? So I coached with my father and my brothers. Um, and the discussion was try and make them good people first, right? Like as athletes, some of them, God willing, if they can even so much as get a scholarship and have school paid for, then that is a fantastic outcome. But the reality is that the majority of them were never going to be professional hockey players. That's just the way it is. There's so few and far between. It's hard to become a professional athlete in anything. But if we could sit here and work and try and help them deal with the lessons of the game and how you could attribute learning those lessons to life, then that was always our goal. In hockey you fail, in hockey you lose games, in hockey you make mistakes. I remember playing hockey. The one thing that your coach always tells you not to do, I did, and my team lost a big game because of me, and it ate me up. It ate me up so much. And I remember that happening to one of my teams as a coach, and I always thought I was thinking to myself, because when you lose a big hockey game, especially in the pressure cooker of Toronto, where everybody thinks their kid is going to be the NHL, the best player in the NHL, it's a very long walk from the bench over to the dressing room after the game. And it's no different than in life. Yeah, you have a kid who puts the world on their shoulders. They made a mistake, and I thought, how did my coach handle that when I did that 10 years ago? And what I always tell people and tell the players is, you remember it enough to learn from it, and you forget the rest. Because the reality is it's like you said, we're going to fail so many times in life. We're going to make mistakes, or some stupid mistakes, some smart mistakes, some whatever risks in life. And all you can do is try and learn from it. Like, what else are you going to do in life? So I love coaching hockey. I think it's a great perspective, and I like to think that what I said to that kid in that day had a positive effect on the way he's going to be as a person, and in the workforce. Especially, I don't think that kid is going to be unemployable because the kid tried. But yes, there are some kids who think they know absolutely everything, that they're God's gift to this green earth. And it's interesting getting humbled, and interesting watching them get humbled.
And life, one way or another, always will hand you that slice of humble pie. And
Absolutely.
it's how you're going to eat it and deal with it that will affect how your future may hold.